Hello, everyone. It's Friday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Obiajilu Ugbo. How are you today?
Excellent morning, ladies. I've never looked forward to a Saturday like I'm looking forward to one.
Want to sleep?
Yes,
this whole week I've been back to back.
I've worked back to back. It's not even the work; it's the waking up very early. Because now there's a way they handle the school bus issue because of the flood. The school bus doesn't get to the house, so I have to wake up early, drop them off somewhere, and start heading to the office. So I get here like 6:55, earlier than I would have usually resumed. So it's me doubling up my wake up. I haven't even had time to do my meditation because the alarm rings by 5 a.m. I'm up. Okay, wake up, take your bath. And I feel terrible for the kids. They're waking up so early and they're sleeping so late.
How long does that have to go for?
For the rains, yes, and then it goes back to normal. But I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Your sneakers, I can see them. They're beautiful.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you. My daughter picked out this one for
I said
me.
one of these days. I'm just
But don't fall out. I should not fall out.
If I have something like, see those sneakers you wore, I just gotta look. It's just gorgeous.
But it's big for you. This is 42.
It's
42. Yeah, but I'm wearing House of BC. A direct t-shirt.
Nice.
Espota, pure water.
Nima Akashat Zibiri. How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm grateful. Just okay.
Yeah, are you okay?
You don't want to
tell us what's going on.
Give us gist now.
We go on long holiday tomorrow now.
Which holiday again?
Resting.
The way they are celebrating.
This Saturday, I'm telling you, we have worked.
Mariah does this for every...
They don't mind them.
Where's the house?
Don't go sit down.
She can wake up by 8 a.m.
Yeah. No, but she does.
But how are you doing, Nima? How's everything? What ones are you doing for the weekend?
I'm okay.
Nima
is coding information. Nima doesn't want to
Nima has something cooking that she
There's no
doesn't
traffic
share with
today.
us.
I'm fine.
Hey, okay.
We'll not see you.
I'm very, very good.
President?
Yes, madam. Oh no, I'm really, sometimes
Doing the responsibility.
Yes, and it's interesting to lead adults that understand what they want, but I have a huge responsibility to positively inspire growth in my community there. But that wasn't my gist. Celebration has been ongoing since, and I've been seeing Auntie Yenny, YK is just dropping different fashion statements day by day, and I'm wondering, I have to make out time to breeze into celebration once, just one off, but I'm really looking forward to watching Brotherhood. We're going to watch the movie today. I'm taking my staff to let's just enjoy. Mariah has given me so much information about that movie. I want to go and verify for myself.
We'll watch next week. Let me sleep first.
Yes,
it's a good movie. It's a good movie. My only reservation is that I'm not sure Nigeria is
ready
for that kind of movie.
Are you sure?
And I say ready in the sense that you don't want to send the wrong message, but it's a good movie as in the production, the cinematography, the whole thing is fantastic.
And the story.
Wrong message, but we watch American movies.
Yeah, but American movies is still far-fetched. Like, it can't happen. But when it can happen here in Nigeria, so I can do this, okay.
Yes, I get
I don't want to send that kind of message to wrong people, but it's all good, we're still growing. But
How you doing?
I think Saturday, so I have a few functions.
Oh yeah, I'm speaking somewhere tomorrow.
Yeah, speaking somewhere. I'm speaking somewhere tomorrow too. And on Sunday, I'm attending an Anglican church. They invited me over, coming, so I'll be there on Sunday. So it's a kind of busy weekend. But, it's all good.
Yeah,
I'll try to find time to rest.
Yeah, I want to package my business speaking engagement. Yeah, like a business, proper business, not just one that you're speaking because they like you and
But if you even invited me to speak and you did not remind me 2 days before, it's not my fault. I didn't
Send on my way.
Okay, let's go on a break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
We're going to start with The Nation. Amotekun Corps, others can't tackle in banditry, says El Rufai. LP's presidential campaign begins October 18th in Nasarawa. 2023, it's reward time for Tinubu, say Kwara governor and senator. Appeal court ends Nnamdi Kanu's trial, orders IPOB leaders release. ASU in all-night meeting over strike. CBN stops foreign banks from deposit collection. Southside commissions Okowa Diri to classify Wiki. And Sanwo-Olu signs MOU with Del York on Film City. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Samuel Otom of Benue State, that's governor of Benue State, had given the federal government an ultimatum to grant the state's community volunteer guards a license to bear AK-47. And he said that he knows that the state and the federal government are working hand in hand to see how they can have state policing. However, the Benue State has the final say, even if that one fails. Also, Governor Akeredolu of Ondo has also, given the government his intention to procure arms for Amotekun, saying that it's legal and it's his duty as a governor to protect the residents from all of the bandits. However, the Kaduna State Governor, El-Rufai, was warning that arming state security outfits was not enough to end insecurity in the country. He says that, it's going to be like a simplistic approach to combating sophisticated non-state actors, in his words, that sometimes even outgun the military. He says if we look at the ammunition that these people come with, is so sophisticated that they, puts the military to a run. And the state's security, agencies are not equipped enough to handle this sort of people. That their job, that's the local security network, their job is to provide local intelligence, and they do not have enough firearms to face these bandits. And so we should, resist from just insisting that we get AK-47. That will not really solve the problem. So he went ahead to say that a lot is happening in states. In the past few weeks, they've not had a lot of banditry attack because now the military is taking another approach, which is going to their camps to bomb them out and fish them out. And he wishes they had started this 3 years ago when the bandits were still very little, and it would have been
effective.
Yes, more effective and in a better place than now.
So Nnamdi Kanu was freed yesterday by the appeal court in
Yeah.
a unanimous judgment. All the three-man panel agreed that, the federal government did not comport themselves properly. He called it, I want to quote one of the justices, if I can quickly get his name, he said, the federal government, having flagrantly breached the fundamental rights of Kanu, lost legal rights to put him on trial, and that by the illegal abduction and extraordinary rendition of the appellant, there was a clear violation by the respondent, as the federal government, to international treaties, conventions, as well as African Charter, and a breach of laws within the country. So the federal government had, of course, you remember in a Gestapo style, brought back Nnamdi Kanu through Kenya back to the country to face trials on treasonable felony and treason. And the law also said that even though they charged him for treason charges, they didn't specify where or when. Those are some of the details in charge processes that, they use to quash their own cases before they get to any court. And that the High Court, who also heard the matter in the first instance, lacked jurisdiction to hear that matter at all. And so, based on all these details, they've acquitted him and discharged and acquitted him according to the earlier report. But the federal government is now saying he only got a discharge. He didn't get an acquittal. And so there are some technicalities they're probably looking at to come and file again. But I totally disagree.
Well, is it possible for him to file and sue the government for detaining him
for
and
that
get
long?
a
Of course,
compensation?
there's a fundamental human rights abuse charge somewhere.
And the federal government can
processed
also
somewhere else.
appeal.
Yeah.
Yes, they can also appeal, but I doubt that they have any grounds to get
Okay, so Lagos State Governor signed some really exciting MOUs at the just concluded Engbeti Summit. He was able, one of the proudest things of Lagos is the fact that they're the first subnationals doing some really national, ambitious projects. Some of which are, they signed for the deep sea port. That will be one of the first of its kind. It's a 2.5 billion naira project that's going to sit over 496 hectares of land and should employ about 250,000 direct jobs. They also signed MOU with Siemens Energy Limited, which is a German company. And that's a partnership with the LASVEB, which is the Lagos State Technical Vocational Education. That they're going to be training about 16,000 people in engineering, and they're going to leave about 30% slot for women to ensure that they have access to engineering courses and technical abilities. And also, they also signed the executive bill was signed for the Lagos State Wealth Fund. If you remember the Sovereign Wealth Fund, which is like a savings. So what they needed this for is to ensure that Lagos State has some access to savings in times of dwindling crisis. So the Lagos State Wealth Fund. And finally, there was another MOU that was signed. It's for the Del York, so the partners with Del York International. And that's for the Lagos Film City to be built for a fit-for-purpose building for film activity. I know how we have it in abroad where we have film cities.
Yeah,
so they'll be having that built in Accra and going to be set on 100 hectares of land. As I said, there's a lot of ambitious activities for a subnational, but Lagos State is doing this based on the PPP arrangement with the public sector and private sector collaboration to ensure that bring development and employment to Lagos State. Right.
So I want to take another good story from CBN. Acting in their capacity as a regulatory agency, they have issued final guidelines for, as of yesterday, they signed it. The Director of Financial Policy and Regulation Department, Chibuzo Efebi of CBN, has licensed that all operators, so we have international banks operating in Nigeria, cannot carry out the same transactions as our local banks, which is a good thing to protect the interests of Nigerian banks. Foreign banks cannot collect deposits. They cannot do local transfer. They also mentioned that in their signage and on every letterhead, they must put there that they'll put the foreign name of the bank and put representative office. So the function is representative office, which means they're supposed to help to stimulate our economy by bringing foreign direct investment and not actively playing in the banking sector. I believe bankers will be happy about this.
The point, fantastic. And Nnamdi Kanu, jubilation in Southeast. Federal government may appeal judgment. 126 stranded Nigerians return from Libya. Oguman kills wife over school fees, burns corpse with iron. Lagos probes nurses for filming ex-Big Brother Niger star's last moments. Osinachi thought her abusive husband would change, says neighbor. Cholera kills 231. NCDC warns against poor hygiene. Sanwo-Olu gets federal government's approval for $2.5 billion Badagry seaport. Strike, parents, students hopeful as ASU leaders meet. And PDP woos aggrieved party members, BOT delays report. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Human interest, please.
Right.
Very sad story of domestic violence ending the life of one of the parties. Mrs. Folashade Badejo, a 40-year-old woman, was killed by a 51-year-old husband, Oloroti Badejo, in their house in Orimerumu, Mowe, in Ogun State here. And this fashion designer had just simply asked for the school fees of her children. And so, of course, arguments started. Sadly, an 8-year-old witnessed the entire thing. So she and her husband argued about the fees, and then he started to beat her. This is a continuous way of them resolving issues, but he beat her, slammed her into a wall. She fell down, and then he held her, according to the 8-year-old account, and strangled her.
Oh, my God.
And then when he found out she had died, he tried to cover it up. And he put hot iron, burnt parts of her body to make it seem like she was electrocuted by pressing iron near the freezer.
Yeah.
And that was how her body was found. But the police have arrested him. They're investigating this. And the account of the young girl, they've done an autopsy of her body, and they've discovered that she died by strangulation, which corroborates the account of the 8-year-old who witnessed everything. But the most painful one was that, they confirmed everything, and the 8-year-old is her account they're holding on to. So I'm just wondering.
The trauma.
The trauma on that child, where is
The
she?
account from her neighbors and sisters and family members said that this has continued over the years.
I know Karen come up.
They're no commotan.
Hey.
She has this domestic violence has continued over the years.
Who's going to promote you? Some people will just say,
No, for a friend, I can remove
go
face
understand.
because they will say, I want to scatter the marriage. For my sister, I go drag them out. Do
You
your
must
worst.
take that position.
Yes, somebody
Somebody
has
has
to
to.
in the family.
But it has to.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
we have to go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. There was another story, PC?
Yes, so the Nigeria Center for Disease Control yesterday on his website, made a post and said a total of 2,187 cases, confirmed cases of cholera is what we have had so far. And they said that included 233 deaths which has been recorded in 31 states from January to September 25, 2022. And they had an advisory that was titled Stop Cholera, Strengthening Water, Sanitation and Hygiene in Nigeria. And they're saying that the outbreak of cholera had been increased by limited access to clean water and sanitation. They give a lot of advice on how we can stop this by stopping open defecation. We still have it. There's a lot of poor hygiene practices across the state, especially those places that they really do not have clean water. And because cholera is a waterborne disease, when you are in a place where you don't have that clean water, you just use whatever you have. It's going to cause a lot of diarrhea, especially for children. And that's why we're having so many breakouts of cholera in the state. Right. So they gave all the numbers from state to state. It's a lot here. So I think people should just pick it and read it up.
Okay, so 126 Nigerians were received yesterday from Libya. And this was done through the Voluntary Repatriation Program. So Mr. Fariloye, who is the territorial officer, Mr. Ibrahim Fariloye, confirmed the development yesterday. They were received from Libya. I think it was about 46 women and 62 female and 46 men in total. Now, this program is especially for Nigerians who are living abroad, especially in Europe, that are distressed. So there is a program if you somehow you got to Europe and maybe the people who took you there are not living to the expectations that was agreed, and you feel distressed, you don't have any money, you want to go back home, this program is for you. So they actually brought them back through this program. So just in case you know family members, there's a way to bring you back to Nigeria and bring you home safely.
Don't call us to get the details. Just Google the information. Because the next Saturday show now, they'll be calling all of us to find out what Morayo said.
He's in the papers.
He's in the papers. Please, I want to take the story of MTN. So MTN has signed a contract. Less than 44% of Nigerians have access to the digital space because they don't have smartphones. And according to MTN, they've signed this partnership with Inteligra. Started since January. They've currently given over 20,000 devices, but their goal is that by 2023, they'll be giving out 1,000 smartphones every day. This is their own process. So they give you the smartphone with their line, and you are paying for that smartphone through your airtime. So over a period of time, you can own the phone from your airtime payments, making more people have access to the internet. In the report, they also mentioned how our phones usually is like our mini computer now, so everybody can have access to proper information just for as low as 7,000 naira every month. They can walk away with owning the phone in about 12 months.
Is that why they increased our tariff without letting us know?
No. That one is for energy.
I know now, but they should let us know now. Okay. All of them just increased tariff like that. I was scrolling down to find the package I used to buy. They don't do things like that.
Was wrong with
we need to talk about it.
Vanguard. Court frees Kanu for terrorism charges, orders his release. Nigeria hasn't requested debt restructuring, says World Bank boss. El Rufai tackles Akeredolu in arming Amotekun. And getting Lagos government signs MOU on media and film city. $450 million Lekki Airport passenger aircraft. Passenger traffic. Access route others threaten viability. NNPCL tackles El Rufai as governor says FG has failed woefully in oil and gas business. Ex-BB Niger housemate Rico Suave dies after auto crash. APC can't revive economy, address insecurity, says Peter Obi. 2023, Jonathan declares support for Okowa, and AK-47 or Tom gives the federal government 1 month ultimatum. Okay, which story are we going with?
According to the World Bank president, at the ongoing annual meeting of the World Bank and IMF, he said that Nigeria has not requested for debt restructuring from international financial institutions as allowed under the Common Framework for Debt Treatment Beyond the Debt Service Suspension Initiative, DSSI. And the World Bank, he said also that, even if Nigeria were to request for this, it must come under that framework for debt treatment as an initiative endorsed by the group of 20 most industrialized nations, the G20. And he says that also, the report also carries that Nigeria's debt went up to 253% in 7 years. So in 2015, our debt was about 12.12 trillion, but as of 2022 now, it is 42.84 trillion. And so you can see the gap that it has gulped.
Right.
But we have to come we have to first of all request for that debt restructuring,
Yeah.
and that debt restructuring must also come under the framework that they have. It must go through the normal process.
Okay.
So I took the story about the challenges that people are foreseeing. Experts are foreseeing the challenge to the new 450 million Lekki airport. And this is an exciting thing for real estate people, but I wanted to understand the reason, not that we're just quickly casting aspersions on what the government is doing. So the report is detailing the access route challenges and how the government must plan ahead for providing alternatives that we don't already have. The zone is not busy yet. We already have people spending 5 to 6 hours between Victoria Island and VGC, according to Vanguard's report. They also mentioned how the current Murtala Mohammed Airport is not overworked. It's just not being well maintained, and it already has less traffic because of scarcity of aviation fuel. So the conversation should be about what is Lagos State government and what is the government going to do to improve access, Nigerians having access to or the need for the airports. How are you bringing more traffic to Nigeria to use those airports? Don't just build the airports in the expectation that there'll be traffic.
So
But how are you stimulating business in that area, and how are you providing alternative routes? Not that same Lekki Ekpe corridor will be the
This is a
only
conversation
access
we
to
can
the...
have with the government when
Yes.
we do invite them to
No, but you know, Lagos State has a clear plan in that area, in Lekki.
Yes, blue
So a
line.
lot of people are already living on lands that are meant for roads. So when the process starts, Nigeria is ready.
demolish.
No, I
They will
don't
come
understand.
and
Why are
yes,
they
now
living there
if your
already?
house pass road, you know, I don't know whoever approved, but you know, there are clear areas that are meant for this project.
Anyway, let's move
the
Okay, let's
development
take
is,
another
going to
story.
come.
Vanguard, let's just move on to Tribune. Okay, we're taking IPOB already. Let's check the story. We've not taken Unilag, UICU, top Nigerian varsity in world ranking. FG distributed 12,000 metric tons of grains nationwide. Shut down Bajano factory within 48 hours, Bello tells Dangote management. Labour Party removes NLC TUC presidents from campaign council. PDP has not suspended its presidential campaign, says Tambuwal. And Osho Speaker orders in hospital as vehicle runs into convoy. Okay, which story are we taking?
Unilag, UI, and the Confront University are top Nigerian universities around the world, or in Africa. So, according to this rating, the 2023 Times Higher Education World University Rankings, UI and Unilag and UI both maintain the 401 to 500 position in the world. And according to the reports, they are #1 in Africa, both of them on the same rankings. And Confront University have 601 to 800 in 2021 and 501 to 600 in 2022 rankings as well. So we're, 601 to 800 right now, while Bayero University, Kano, and Federal Universities Accra are in the 1,001 to the 1,200 band in the world. So we are still doing well, even though is on strike. We are still doing well.
What do we consider
We
doing well?
are still
1,000.
doing well.
The federal
So the
government-
rankings are on the
our-
level of education. Infrastructure is another matter. We're coming there.
Okay, the
Alright.
federal government has approved the distribution of
I agree with you, Jerry,
12,000
madam,
metric tons
Everything I
of
kill and I
grain
kill 'em.
nationwide, and they're doing this to cushion the effects of the flood in most of the states. So they said that is equivalent to 400 trailers of grain, you know, and they have been trying to distribute across the country. I think they came into a problem recently, and the DSS has been ordered to ensure that the routes are clear so that they can move all of these relief materials and the grains to the states that need them.
That's good.
Okay.
I took the story of the Osun speaker. So there was the convoy for the Osun speaker. An accident took place where a vehicle from opposing traffic rammed into the convoy. Eyewitness said that it was a head-on collision with one of the vehicles in the convoy, resulted in a lot of injuries. The speaker of the Osun State House of Assembly, Honorable Timothy Oweye, was also involved in the accident, and all of them are currently in University Teaching Hospital Oshogbo, that's Uni Osun, receiving treatment. Thankfully, there was no fatality. So,
Did you
Final
see
paper.
picture story in the Tribune?
No. Yeah.
So sad. The flood in Bayelsa, Yenogwa, right now.
we really...
Roads have been washed away.
Discuss flood, but we
Pictures
didn't
from
see
Anambra
Yeah,
is
we can't
even
stop taking-
more heart-wrenching. So what we saw from the pictures in Kogi na small.
Now, small.
So it's terrible.
Okay.
Need to be our
The
brother's
Guardian, IPOB mass sub-jubilee as court squashes charges against Kanu. Chimamanda did not accept national award, says team. So Oludale York signed MOU to Lagos Media Film City, and Wike's donation stirs controversy in Cross River. Let me take the Chimamanda story, which I thought was quite interesting. So there were indications that Chimamanda did not show up at the event to confer the conferment of the award, the national award, and one of the members of her media team, Omaomi Ogbe, did confirm that she did not show up because, according to her, the author did not accept the award, and as such did not attend the ceremony. She, however, did not want to create an undue publicity around it, so her non-acceptance was conveyed privately. And that's something I personally respect, because I remember that my dad never took the essay and the stand, even though he was offered twice. He just said because, and the reason was because, following the fact that Chinua Achebe also rejected this national conferment in 2004 and I think 2011.
What's usually the reason?
The reason is because they're not in agreement with the government
Oh.
of the day. So at the time, I think it was Obasanjo's government, and then the time was Jonathan's government for Chinua Achebe. So if you don't believe in something...
It's not really right or wrong. Somebody can disagree with the government but receive the honor. Another person will say, I disagree with the government, I'm not going to
taking
receive
anything
the
from
honor.
Which is a respectable thing to do. So, fantastic. So let's go on a break. When we come back, Rico Suave is a very hot topic which we must talk about. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Yesterday, news broke about the death of a former Big Brother Nigeria contestant, Rico Suave. He died in Louth after an auto crash. What was more disheartening, aside from the fact that he died, was moments before his death, he was being recorded by some nurses who were attending to him. We did see from the video that went viral that he was using the oxygen mask, and obviously was being attended to on a chair. Sadly, one of the nurses seemed to have been recording while another was cautioning her to stop recording because somebody obviously needs urgent attention. Now, this brings a conversation of how we are treated in our teaching hospitals, in our hospitals generally. And for this to even happen in Lagos State in itself, because many people believe that at least you're in Lagos, hopefully you get better care. So, and since this report, Lagos State government has officially said they will probe into that video and find out what happened. And we're expecting that some kind of disciplinary action will be taken against these nurses. But somebody has died. And there are lots of things that can be said concerning this. What are your thoughts on the behavior of the nurses, the action of the government, and the possibility or the reality that this is what we face in the matter of emergencies? This was an emergency, and you would think that for an emergency, things will be done in a different kind of way. What are your thoughts on this video? Let's hear your thoughts. You can call us on 081-2705-3687, 091-390-76948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. It's quite disheartening that we keep having these conversations over and again. You know, we've had where people are taken to the hospital and
Abandoned.
These things happen. They said there's no bed. Here we saw there was a bed. There was actually an empty bed. So
Two beds.
there were two beds. At least we saw in the video. What are your thoughts when you saw this video? Let me start with you, Nima.
Okay, so before I even talk about how we respond to emergencies, I don't know whether we have lost our sense of humanity. You know, everything is content. Everything is story. Everything, because you could hear from that video, one of the nurses say, see some, make we put her for bed now. This person had just been involved in an accident that was ghastly, and he was rushed down. The little, maybe few chances of survival was what you were using to make a video. As in, body not the pepper us again. Somebody was not pinned. What can we do? What more can we do for, for this person, this last moment? Maybe he would survive. And so one of the nurses already gloved, another person already gloved. They were both waiting, needing assistance to put him on the bed. And one person thought, why you people are waiting? Just give me a chance. It's an actor. And that person made the video a few seconds long. I think on my phone, it was 39 seconds or so. and she continued to make that video. And if you had just 39 seconds more of chances of survival, that time don't go.
That could have made a difference.
You know, it could have made a difference. So we're going to come back to how we respond to emergencies, accidents, and how we carry the bodies, the way we juggle. Because, you know, in late May, I had my relative slum at home. And there was no way ambulance can come. We were deadlocked in traffic. There was nothing that could have been done. So we had to carry, and the only available car was a sports car, only one door.
Hey.
Somebody that big, we had to smuggle
That already puts risk.
into that place. To do a one-way, we needed to get an exemption. We couldn't have done that, so we went against the one-way to get to the hospital. So whatever, by the time we got to the hospital, it was coma. There was nothing that could have been done, you know? So we need to talk about how we respond to emergencies.
Okay, let me come to you, Bisi, because... Go ahead, Bisi. Your thoughts on this video.
I just, that video was so disheartening because I used to think that people who opted to become nurses and caregivers were people who truly cared for humanity. You will not wake up and say, I want to become a nurse or I want to become a doctor when you don't care for humanity. It's that care that is usually the first driving force that pushes you into that industry. And when you naturally have care and love for humanity, there are certain things you will not do. I personally do not understand where you have your phones with you in an emergency. That is an aberration of that profession, and that has to be looked into. There are some professions that when you are at work, your phones are kept away because you need your full concentration. What if you're giving somebody an injection and your phone rings and they say your mother is failing in the house? Do you understand?
Yes.
It affects your ability to be effective in what you do. So you must focus. I don't know why they have their phones in an emergency. That's one. Secondly, like she said, we are now so conscious of content that anything and everything just becomes, you know, your stage to just show, just post. I was the first person to treat this person. I recognize him as an actor. Let me just post. And you forget the crux of the matter, which is trying as much as possible to save his life. That window, if they had taken it, may have made a huge difference in this person's life. So those nurses should be sanctioned. They have no business being in an emergency. And how we even carry out emergencies? I've gone to places and I've seen emergencies, and people don't move. Me and my American films, so if you should pardon me, when we see emergencies in these movies, you see the speed. Everybody's on their toes. Everybody's moving. Get the ambulance. Get the let's lift. Let's get the stretcher. Everybody is moving. The speed is just so accurate. And when I come here and I see emergencies here, it seems like, put him there. Let him sit down. Let him do this. I'm coming. Please, madam, don't disturb me. Madam, don't disturb me. There's no space. Don't. And tempers are rising. People are not professional. I don't know. Yeah. How did we get to this point?
Okay, let me come to Tokoyemi, because I was going to respond to you, but let me hear your thoughts first on this, on what happened on the video. And
so, what are the key indices for human development? What are the key indices that shows the society is developed? Is the life expectancy. The quality of life people get to live in your community shows that their development. It might not be how wealthy, but the quality. Education, you know, access to justice when you need it. 3 key things that we don't need anybody. It's not political for you to say we failed in these 3. The value for human life, that was what we saw. Yeah. We don't value human life. And sadly, people who should value human life, most of them have seen so many deaths on a daily basis that they are not moved. So it's like, this person, the way they do it, they go die. That, you know, like, this one don't go already. You know, and we've heard it. And I use general hospitals. Nima and I are, this is our line of where we seek help. And I can tell you for a fact, it is the culture. It is not a one-off. It is not a sad thing. This is the culture. The culture is you bring your patients, you are the one that will probably, it might not even be a nurse doing that video. That's the truth. It might be one of Rico's people or an intern. And they need the help of that person to carry, because I've been in an hospital situation after an accident, and we were the ones carrying. The attendants at the scan place said, you better get 3 people to come and carry you. We cannot carry this one. That's a human being alive trying to get scanned. And you say, we cannot carry this one. So we have to start getting someone to help us to lift then she was 11, lift this girl on to get scanned. This is the culture of I'm just doing the bare minimum to get my pay
yes,
and
so
go. You cannot
not
come and kill
concern
me. I'm not your government. It's not me that caused your problem. Carry your wallet and go. How was this person driving safe? They go don't drink. They drive anyhow for road. So we don't value human life, and it has created a culture where caregivers are not really caring. They are just barely doing the minimum.
You know, this is quite painful because the reason why it's quite painful for me because I have experienced the exact opposite. And I've shared this story before, where my 3-year-old, Michael, one of my twins, was 3 years now. He's 8, so about 5 years ago, in this same country, where I just coincidentally got a phone number from Accra. Was talking about some doctor. I said, just give me the doctor's number just in case I have an emergency. It was a doctor not so far from my house, and it was 2 a.m. My son stopped breathing practically. His head just rolled off. And myself and my husband scampered. We called the doctor at 2 a.m. He said, bring that child. And we were running. We drove the car. The gate was locked. We carried him and we were running with our pajamas. As we were entering in this Lagos, they were waiting for us with a stretcher, with the gas mask, everything. At the reception, they were waiting for us outside. The gateman knew we were coming. They opened the doors wide. I was shocked. I'm like, I'm in Nigeria. This was a local hospital, not one big hospital. So this is an
human life.
This is one doctor who said, well, I called, said, I'm coming. As we came in, they put that boy on the stretcher. At the reception, they revived him. We were there, Skabashi. But the point is, these are human beings who have been insensitive. And when we are venting, let us make sure that these people are brought to book and we change individuals. Because the systems are there, the hospitals are there. They might not have all the infrastructure, but we, the people, must change the way we do it.
Let me add a little to your experience. I remember, I've noticed a disparity in how doctors and nurses behave in Nigeria. I don't know about another country here. There's always this genuineness I see from doctors. I would want to say maybe because they are not really that overwhelmed, whatever excuse it is anyway, but they treat you better than the nurses treat you. I have noticed that. I remember when I was having my last daughter in the hospital, they had checked me. I was in labor, I had started, and they could not, the baby's head got stuck because she was so big. The scan did not show us exactly the weight. So I just bounced in the way I used to bounce in for the other two and felt I'll just do and I'll come out. And she got stuck. Now, instead of these nurses to recognize that there's a crisis and get a doctor, they were arguing amongst themselves. Some were praying. They were like in my state of pain and everything. They were using their hand everywhere. I was screaming. Thankfully, my mother-in-law was in the labor room. I and that baby would have died. She was in the labor room and she started screaming, "We want a doctor! We want a doctor!" Immediately, the doctor came. Because I had suggested to them, because I'm very lucid when I'm, birthing my babies, I suggested to them that, press this place for me. Help. They said, no, these days, they're not the help. I said, press this place for me. I don't want to now. Then they press here. Help me. He said, no, they're not the help. Immediately, doctors came. They just tore me open. Two of them held this place. And this baby came out and broke her left arm. So, because they were given that responsibility, probably they didn't want to call a doctor, so it wouldn't look like they're incompetent.
You should have sued.
I wanted to. Our guy is the peacemaker in the family. Left for me, I would have sued.
You should have sued.
The whole place. I was fuming.
Because your baby came up.
Yes, came and still today, she's still doing physiotherapy to get that hand functioning properly.
Imagine that in this country.
So when it comes to doctors, you call the doctor and you see the response. If you call a personal nurse, probably that owns her own place, because she wants to keep you as a customer, it's different. But when you now move into the general hospitals and the other hospitals where you come to their comfort zone, where they're already comfortable, now small, we're going to do our work, nobody should come and stress us. That's when you see the true character.
Let me go on a break. When we come back, we take a phone call. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So I must correct the fact that this did not happen at Luth. Initially, the report that I had access to still had Luth, but I've been able to get the updated version, which is very clear that the unprofessional conduct that we just expressed happened at Durham Hospital in Ajah, and it was a staff was the nurses there that were probably that were recording this video, not Luth. Because people just went on and Luth was trending. I guess maybe that's why the report initially came in as Luth. But it was not Luth. It was at a private university, private hospital, Durham Hospital in Ajah. Okay, so let's take a few calls, and hopefully some calls will come, but let's take a few tweets on this.
The Lagos State government has also opened the investigation into the unprofessional conduct of the staff of the hospital that led to this video and the trend. Luth official is also saying they saw that Luth and Lasut were trending and that these were their hospitals. But let's talk about what happens in those hospitals too. So you come in with an emergency and you only have student doctors attending to you. These are student doctors who are also learning, and probably everybody is an experiment guinea pig. And in your own case, you have a serious case on your hands. So my experience recently when my mom had an issue and went to a general hospital was that I was annoyed because by the time I left the show, I met them at the hospital. I was pained at the people I was seeing. In fact, they were guessing between themselves until one person now came and said, okay, this is the injection to give. Sometimes, even if these students are allowed to train and you have cases you're overwhelmed, let there be at least one adult doctor spotting out cases.
You've all gone to Canada. Okay.
No, then if you start to shake table now, they come out. That's the painful part.
You have to shake. So, the thing I notice is, I don't know how we are going to ingrain, not just for these sort of profession, but for everybody in the country, because I'm seeing a pattern of Nigerians not being able to show empathy. Some people don't even understand what it means to show empathy. And that's not sympathy. Hey, yeah, sorry, it happened to you. Empathy is different, where you put yourself in that person's shoes at that moment. How do we begin to teach, especially these people who are going to be handling the lives of people? What sort of trainings do they have in the schools? So we can design. So when you pick a problem, you notice a problem in the community. You don't just go to school and come back and then start practicing what you have learned in school. You should understand your environment as, okay, what is the problem we have in this culture? Okay, there's not much empathy. How can we design courses? How can we design trainings that will help our nurses to have more empathy for the people that they are caring for? And that means that when we start complaining like this, when we see some of these irregularities, they will put it into their, okay, our nurses need to stand out. We need you to have an experience when you come into the hospital because you're going to bring more customers for us. That hospital, they give you care, they give you this, they give you that. Imagine if it was one of their spouses that was brought into the hospital or one of their children. Would they have the time to be doing Photoshop or photo shoot while the person is? Do you understand? That's what empathy does for you. Can we add that to the curriculum they already have because they don't have it? I've never seen a nurse that has empathy. I'm sorry I'm generalizing here, but I'm coming from a place of pain.
Let me take this call. Let me take this call because Dr. Nnamdi is on the call with us. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
How are you?
So you're a basic life support expert. Tell us a bit about what could have done to save this man's life.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to commiserate with the family of the deceased. At this point, we're talking about the dead. Yes, we live in a social media society, which is somehow unfortunate. So I would like to limit my contribution towards the young man that died. I like to look at emergency as a holistic point of view. For us at Doctors of the Life Foundation, we view ignorance at the scene of an accident. So emergency as an accelerating factor towards the death of the victim. And when you are talking about emergency, it could happen anywhere. Recently, we are carrying a campaign to, I had one of your colleagues there made a very fantastic contribution about emergencies and what to do and the rest of them. We're looking at life expectancy of Nigerians. At the moment, we are struggling between 54 and 55. Not even one-third countries. I could mention several of them that are doing 60, 70, and the rest of them. So today, promoting total health was a part of knowledge. That's what we're doing. And how do you do that? You look at emergency. It will come through heart attack, heart failure, cardiac arrest, and these things differ. Heart attack is different from cardiac arrest, and it's different from heart failure. You don't need to be a medical doctor to be able to handle emergency. That's the point I want to make. You don't need to be a medical doctor.
Right.
As a basic life support expert, I don't need to be a doctor to know about cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Should these things, like my friend Moria said, happen 2 a.m. in the morning, and you don't have a doctor around you, what are you going to do?
Dr.
I was in a
Austin.
mall recently, and I asked the
Dr.
gentleman,
Austin, I want you to
should there be an emergency and somebody collapse here, what are you going to do? He said, all men will take off. In fact, he used their next day. Boom, it's better than, what did they say? It's better than, what the police said, it's better than giving
Dr.
an
Austin,
evidence.
because of time.
And that's
Dr. Austin, first, because of time, give us an idea of what should be the emergency response in a situation where an accident victim, well, the video we saw of this young man sitting on the chair, what was being done to him, and what should have been done to him?
A bit delayed.
Hello, sir, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Did you get my question?
Okay, when there is an emergency, like an accident, there are a few things you're going to do. First of all, safety is very important. If the accident occurs, you that is going to handle the emergency, your safety is also very important. You have to bring the victim out from that scene, and in handling that, you're also going to be careful. Sometimes these emergencies could lead to something like spinal cord injury. The way you leave the spinal cord injury patient to the stretcher is different from the way you leave other ones. These things are very important. Should there be issue of cardiac arrest, which will occur at any place, there are stages you are going to use. You could be able to bring the person to safety, which is the first one, in safety. Second, response system, which to ask the person a simple truth. That is after you protected yourself. Protecting yourself could be through your gloves, could be, if you don't have gloves, you could use your hand and rest of them. Detect whether there is no responsiveness. I'm talking about your home, accident scene or whatever. If you are a little bit knowledgeable, you check the pulse. If those things are not there, no responsiveness of the pulse is a very good indication that this person is into cardiac arrest. You start your CPR, which is cardiopulmonary resuscitation. World Health Organization said 10 seconds after you discover this, start those compression. Compression is between your breastbone and the open holes there. And make sure you learn how to do this compression properly so that it doesn't go into internal injury of the person you are trying to help. If you can also do the mouth-to-mouth respiration, this is very important. But I want to make this point, because we are going into the 21st century. You may not have anybody at any point that will help in the CPR. You may not have anybody in the rural areas to help in terms of emergency. We are employing technology. There's a gentleman in Port Harcourt now who is coming up first in Nigerian history with a technological hub that wherever you are in the village, with or without data, and there are emergencies, there are first ever, is there now, equipment and machines that you can climb upon and get put in help. There are apps that have been developed that people can use and have in common language that people can be able to use to revive their loved ones.
All right, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So we're still discussing this matter. Nima, you're going to say something.
So I got a message from Arab. It says that in 2017 he had an accident in Kogi on his way to Abuja, and that instead of people to save them, Nigerians were making videos and they were stealing from them. So it brings the question to us Nigerians, because I was looking for a better way to disagree with BC's analogy of nurses and doctors. To bring it out to personalities. I spent 6 months in the hospital with Imran's pregnancy, and I saw amazing doctors, I saw nasty doctors, but I saw nasty nurses, I saw amazing nurses. I remember that one of those nurses would sit with me till 11 p.m. Whenever she's doing her book, she'll bring it by my bed, she'll help my morale, she'll boost my morale, she'll give me pep talk. She didn't have to do that, but she just knew that my journey was long and that I needed inner strength to carry it on. And till tomorrow, I call her Yaya, and we are close friends. Yeah. You know, that's a person, that's one person. If you bring it down to attitude, you will see it on the road. If a Nigerian is on the road and an ambulance is blowing their siren, we will block him. We will sit in traffic and block him. This one, I still talked about it recently on the show. I was pained. But if a bullion van was coming, we will branch off. If we don't know the VIP who is going to the airport along Oshodi, we will branch off because we don't want to be beaten. But once it's an ambulance or fire engine, fire truck trying to save lives, we will be doing, if I go, somebody will enter my front. I don't get it. We don't understand how important they who are going to save lives are. They were responding to a fire somewhere in Festac before they could access that place. Another wahala entirely because of Nigerians.
We, myself, and I. It's me that
It's a selfishness.
Some boys will say, we're happy in the fire. Because they are stealing, they will prevent the people, the fire truck who is trying to actually end the fire.
But interestingly, just yesterday, very similar story. Interestingly, I was driving out of in Maryland. They know what the Maryland Comprehensive is going into where that traffic light is. And so some era boys stopping cars. And the woman was trying to, maybe she was scared of them, trying to push, and they forced her to stop. And guess what? They were stopping her because there was an ambulance coming on the opposite. She didn't see, and she was about to run the man over. And they think that because they didn't communicate, but there are some good Nigerians who see that, listen, there's an ambulance coming, They don't, for whatever reason, the ambulance didn't have the siren. So they knew that
maybe they had intelligence on what was happening.
Yes.
The emergency was responding to.
They are good Nigerians.
But the one that is the siren is blaring. And you decide that if one person go,
so because we are seeing cases where sirens are empty and they are blowing sirens.
Wouldn't you take the chance?
Take the chance.
So,
take the chance that they're just carrying specimen.
That's a lesson that we must all decide to implement now. We have all heard. It might be you in the siren, or it might be your brother or your daughter they're trying to go and pick. Yeah. Let's respect the siren. There's another thing that I believe is a lesson we can learn from this. We must start litigation. Even if it will take 20 years to go through that process. Litigation seen to the end will help strengthen our system.
Yes.
People shouldn't get away with doing the wrong things.
We need Clash on Act. One person is always difficult. But we have that
class action.
Class action. Where everybody comes together and say, okay, we are all of us are
it's still a whole lot. Yes, we might be able to get there, but one person that's experienced the ineptitude or like the doctor's negligence, take them to court. We should stop saying God will judge, God will fight for me, God has, at least I have my child, or at least we did not die. There was a case of one woman, the caterer that she bakes, that she lost her life in the midst of inefficiency between the medical staff. And we're not seeing where that case is going to, because we don't want to seem like we're bringing a business down. But when one hospital or one doctor or one nurse, a few of them are being made a scapegoat, others will sit up. Sometimes that is another line of action to help prevent.
Okay, the justice system takes forever.
Yeah, 20 years to do it.
Going on and on.
It will
and then
do
your whole family, your whole family will now suffer. Because I mean, people think about what are the various factors that will affect me. I'm going to spend money.
Yes,
my family will be going there all the time, but I don't live like
the enjoyment that Nigerians are going to enjoy in diaspora is because some people suffer for you.
Yeah,
they suffer you don't want to suffer in your country. The suffer that you feel is not comfortable here. Some people suffered it years back for you to enjoy what you are enjoying over there. So those of us that we are here, we must decide that we must fight that battle to the end.
Let me take a call from Stephen. I'll come to you, BC. Good morning, Stephen. Are you there? Malakoko. Hello, Stephen. Are you there?
I'm here. Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's so sad to hear this that happened, but I just want to correct an impression. Like this is it, talking about empathy. In every field, we have good, bad, and we have our experiences too. Not these, especially government hospitals, have seen where nurses stand by you, help you even more than the doctors. But you still have to take to cognizance the fact that these people are, they are having more than they can care for at the time. So I keep calling on our government to do something. To still bounce back to our government, our system. In fact, the guy that died, even if every people have been in place, you can see that. But a very sad one indeed. God bless his soul. In Paris. Thank you.
Please give comments on social media.
Yes. So Kike Adio says, the day I really understood this was when my son was in an ambulance and we're driving from Ikorodu Road to VI. I was in tears. People hardly allowed the ambulance to go through. Ever since I changed. Atolokwe said, I don't know why we don't make use of Lagos State Emergency Code in case of emergency. 112. It works for me all the time, and they have qualified nurses and other health workers that carry out their work. That's fantastic. 112. So I think we should just register it in our brains.
We know 112.
We know
Everybody knows what
Yeah,
112.
thank you for... Do you use it?
We've used it a few times. So in the early days, it worked.
Yeah,
But after a
so-
while, we started, they will be keeping you on hold for a long time.
But somebody now just said it's working, so let's go back to it. So Jamil says, thank you very much, ladies, for discussing this topic. I want to emphasize the role of proper training for healthcare workers and litigation for malpractices and negligence. So just a quick one before you go ahead. I was in Singapore, and we went to a garden, one of the flower gardens. I was about to take pictures. Take a video, so you know the way I used to do my catwalk and stuff. So a guy was holding camera, and I was catwalking. Do you know that all the white people that were coming behind stopped
Because they
For me.
respected.
to catwalk and twist and turn, and then they finished. I didn't even realize what happened till I posted the video, and somebody spotted it and like, white people stopped for you to take. Nigerians don't care. You are doing that picture, they will be walking. They're not send you.
Why
And
you
that
do
is
picture
what.
for
No,
public
hold on. No, just listen to.
I get
Follow the mindset of the people. They understood what I was doing, and they gave me the time to do it.
Respect.
When we see people do stuff like that, we don't care. We are very selfish. It's all about me, and that is what reflects on every other thing that we do.
Well, you said that dancing in public. Are you not doing me? Don't say, I want to do I love you, stop. Or
I came to a beautiful place to enjoy the scenery, and they respected
courtesy,
that
courtesy.
fact. It's courtesy.
have-
Let us
we
have
have-
courtesy for our
Okay,
people.
we have to go on a quick break. When we come back, we're going to wrap up on this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. As we wrap up on this, I think it's more of the lessons. So there are two parts of it. There's the negligence of the hospital, now that we know it's a private hospital. And there's also the fact that
Humanity part.
the humanity,
Yeah.
empathy, the fact that we don't care for each other. And we've also discussed this on different angles, where in different ways too, we do the same thing in different ways. So yes, she's there. These are nurses. But tomorrow, it could be drivers, it could be conductors, it could be bike men, it could be anybody. We all do the same thing in different. It could even be even the people in the office, receptionists, office executives. We all do it in different ways, where we don't care. It's about me, myself, and I, my own promotion. I don't care whose ox is God. I'm going for it because, I mean, I was telling somebody, you know what I was telling me that, Demara, you have to be very careful because everybody's a dog-eat-dog world. Nobody's caring about you. So focus on you and don't care about left. Just look straight. This was advising me, you know, because that's what the world has come to. We don't care. I don't care for you. You don't care for me. We're all just focusing on ourselves. That's what's happening here.
And the
They
ones
don't
that care get beaten. I have somebody now that I'm handling issue. He has been caring for all his subordinates for a very long time, and they keep biting him back to back to back. I'm tired of talking. I said, can you just act like a proper boss and don't care for once? He said, that's not how I'm wired.
That's not his wired.
Worst case scenario, I'll carry my bag.
That's where I wanted
He's
to go.
insisting on being himself, which I've seen it over time. You know, there's always a backlash on him being a good human being. And I'm tired because he still falls on my table and he's saying, this is who I am. Worst case scenario, I carry my bag.
For some of us, it's easy to exist in that dog world. For some people,
They can't.
I cannot exist like that.
We must start taking care of it. And we must call out.
There's a standard I hold myself, which is that, you know, I have not encroached on your rights. I cannot live in a dog world. I can't. I just can't. So when you have, I sleep better with a clear conscience. Even if it's a small cup of water I drink, I'm
It's
fine.
better.
But if I drink big bowl of everybody's food, I'm sure something else will happen. So it's not easy like that.
I'll just say that we must all take responsibility for our part that we play in this scheme of things, and we should respectfully call out when we see something wrong going on. Doctor, that what you did is wrong. No, you shouldn't talk. You shouldn't say that. As in, let's lovingly correct one another, because some people are simply acting based on the what they know and all they have seen and how they have been taught in the system. So they have acclimatized. But when they begin to see a different trend, it's like when people are running the red lights and one person stops, check it. A few people will stop behind that person because they feel, okay, if others are running, more people will run. So let's begin to model the right things so that we can begin to change the way people are behaving in our environment.
Let me just add something little. Yes. So, you know, she mentioned that it could also be a matter of personality, which I agree. Some personalities are more caring than other personalities. That's fantastic. But there's what they call a spirit-controlled temperament. You start, you know, dropping some of those things that are not very fine. You know, start fine-tuning, start pruning your personality. So if you're someone who is, for instance, I know that cholerics are, when they want to get it, they can drag anybody down. I've seen amazing cholerics who will be lifting people up as they're still going for their goals. So can we try and adjust that? And this training is very important. These nurses and doctors need to be trained and retrained with psychologists, not just to understand the job, how to choke needle and back. They need to be mentally evaluated from time to time because most of them have seen a lot of deaths. They are traumatized. They don't have good pay. All these things come in when you are working. If you're working in an environment where it's not conducive for you, you will transfer some sort of aggression, and the patients are at the receiving end. So if we have people who keep mentally reevaluating, patting them on the back, reassuring them that they are doing good, maybe we'll see, because those places we go to and we see nurses smiling at us, and because they are well taken care of. Let's not forget
it's also very important that they're not overwhelmed at work. So you can't put somebody on the 48-hour shift. Whatever kind of shift, let them be proper. For doctors too, because I saw a doctor just slum on the patient in the hospital when I was in the hospital. He had been overworked, been in surgery.
There's a part of this we've not talked about, and I think I like to remember that especially when Nigerians travel abroad and they don't have their papers, one of the things that the family members tell you, you can't get sick. You don't have papers. We don't have insurance for you. Don't go and get headache. If you have headache, go and sleep. If you're having fever, just go and take water. Well, no, because you don't have papers.
You can't buy drugs anyhow.
You can't buy drugs. It's expensive to take care of. You don't have papers. So watch yourself. You live in a country, Nigeria. Our medical system is not top notch. We are not. If anything happens to you today, you don't know. You're going to probably end up like that. So you yourself, Mawari, how do you say it in English? Watch yourself. Don't just be partying all night and say, oh, I'm not. Accidents can happen even in your own comfort of your house.
You can stay in your house, aeroplane come and hit you.
Yeah, that's Nigeria for you. But the one that avoid all those excesses
as much as
possible. Because if anything happens to you, there's no emergency 911 coming to pick you up.
Hey.
There's nobody coming to go and do CPR for you.
Hey.
So just know that you're on your own. Jesus. So in Nigeria, just they do you go party, look left, before you cross, look, you know, just be careful, because if you go abroad today, right, remind you that you don't have insurance. Don't go and get sick. Don't say there's no situation that will take you to the hospital because you don't have paper. I can't be send my house because you want to go to the hospital. So we should be careful. This is a country where we are not there yet medically in our medical system. So as much as possible, our teenagers, our young adults who are having fun and partying, drinking all night, thinking like, hey,
take precautions.
Please, I'm not saying this is what happened in this case, but just be careful. That's all we can take. We have to run. Yes, have a few messages. Go ahead, Nima.
Bumola Emmanuel said, nursing is not just a profession, it's a calling. The emergency care structure of hospitals in Nigeria is generally poor and should be looked into because nothing seems to change. We have some of the best doctors and nurses in the world, for God's sake. And Liki says, I cannot understand why nurses go through a training to aid and care for their patient but end up being cold and uncaring. As much as I don't subscribe to blanket judgment, this is a pattern experienced by far too many, and this narrative has got to change. This must be challenged.
Okay, that's all we can take on this segment, and I think in a nutshell, our hearts do go out to the families of this young man, Rico Suave, and I pray that his soul rest in peace. He's really, really sad. A young man, very, very young man, you know, just at the prime of his life, doing great things, and now this has happened. I just hearts go out to his family. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we talk about something else. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So as we wrap up this week's show, Another video came
Sensational.
about a wife, alleged, we don't even know the full story or the back-end story, but we saw a video, and the story that was attached is that a wife broke glass on a side chick's head. That's what we saw.
Allow Nima to give us the story,
So no
please.
vex.
She not break
Nima,
glass.
Situate the story
They
for
speak
us.
English.
Broke bottle.
She crashed bottle. Yeah.
Hey, bottle.
I wish we could show that video.
Bottle.
As I was watching that video, as I just see bottle flying, one time
Nima, that's
on the
so
poor
dramatic.
woman's head.
Anyways, as I was saying,
That don't
so,
resemble Michelle.
so the video showed what Rima just said, but the conversation is how far should women go in situations like this? We've talked about this thing over
We don't
and
tire.
over again. And it seems as though we can never really cover this story properly because people still don't understand how to behave, how to react in situations like that. I had the opportunity for a woman telling me, Mariah, you never know until you are in those shoes.
Not that type.
Judge a woman who can break bottle. No, crash bottle.
Bottle.
Somebody, bottle. Can crash bottle on somebody's head until you're in her shoes because you don't know what she's been through to get to that point. You don't know the sacrifices she's made. You don't know the issues that has been affected by this action. So let's not judge a woman until we're in those shoes. However, what are your thoughts on this video? Let me start with you, BC. This video that went viral and somebody was
Bottle
My
crashing.
thoughts. It's not a laughing matter, but that video was hilarious to me because it could have been avoided. And I'm worried that we've been speaking so much English here. Maybe they are not understanding that a man that wants to cheat will cheat. So first of all, let me tell you how I analyzed the video. I was confused as to who was the wife and the side chick because they all seemed to, or both of them seemed to have the same figure and the same shape. I was thinking for you to go outside is because you want a variety from what you have in the house. But I didn't see a difference. They were both almost looking the same way. So I was not like,
That's his own spec.
They were all mummies.
I inspect now.
Maya, what?
They were all
I said,
mummies.
yeah, they were all mummies. There was nothing fresh from one of them.
No, you're
It's
generalizing.
supposed to be.
What is fresh to
Wait
you is
now.
not fresh to somebody
No,
else.
listen now. Listen
put that
now.
in the box.
Listen
What
to
is
me
that?
now. So now that is making it difficult for me to decide who is wife and who is side.
That's
what
that because you have a preconceived
You are
mind.
stressing me.
No, nothing would
mental
happen to
state
her.
You are stressing me.
It's nothing would happen to her.
Wait,
Exactly.
no,
When
that
the
man-
woman
let me
has
finish.
born children
Wait
finish, her
now,
belly have
wait
scattered,
now,
her
wait
body
now.
has lost shape.
Wait now.
Then
This
the other
man-
man find a girl whose shape is intact.
Yes.
That's what
Wait, this
supposed
man
to be.
stressed me now because I had to start deciphering who is wife and to understand the video. Please, I don't want that kind of stress. Let the wife be different from the side chick so that we can easily look and say, okay, this one is side chick and this one is
If the wife
That's
is black,
one.
side chick must be
Yeah,
yellow.
yeah,
If
something
the wife
like
is
that.
fat,
Something like that.
Side chick must
Then-
be starving. She
The
must be
breaking
starved.
bottle. I've always said
It's
it
a
here.
bottle.
Bottle. No carry fight. Go meet person. And even if they bring fights, come.
Run, no.
Run from fight because
Run, no.
you know the beginning of a fight, you never know the end of the fight. So why do I want to go and fight over a man when I don't know whether I will go back home limping? Why do I want to put myself in that position? Why don't I just take a walk? This thing is no longer working, it's a deal breaker, let me go. If it's not a deal breaker, okay, uncle, just be smart about it.
Hey.
My family, I don't want to call exactly the person, when the husband was cheating, she bought packets of rubber. Please, don't bring nonsense home. I know that this is you. The man stopped by himself. He may still not have stopped, though. However, she made peace with it because it's not, and she wasn't going around fighting people. Can we just find a balance? If it's not working for you, can we leave this relationship?
But if unfortunately you have already entered trouble, as you see fight, you didn't run, like in the video. The fight have already come. Auntie, can you be smart and legalize your monetary making process? As bottle lands her,
Faint.
lie down flat, face
Okay, so
down.
your advice is to the side chick.
Yeah,
Wherever the
the
bottle
person
lands
will
on.
receive bottle, because in this place, case now, as we see the talk, we don't know side chick and wife. But whoever received the bottle, lie down flat, face down, don't open eye.
You'll be losing blood. You die.
And
No, they will take
they
it to
will
the
bring
hospital.
emergency. Ambulance
Is
will
it
come.
Nigeria?
If your blood is flowing, if you are, it's only you that know if you are still breathing. Lie down flat. Only you know. See 48 hours. Collect your house, collect your car, collect everything in damages. Be smart.
You're watching Hollywood movies.
I'm not watching
No,
Hollywood.
it's
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Grievous bodily harm and assault is
Yes.
a
Yeah,
case.
12,000 naira. You get your 12,000 naira for your children. What's that?
12,000.
It's not
You
Nigeria.
rob your auntie.
Grievous body harm.
Grievous bodily harm. As you go. Let me lori. I've reached. I've made it. Lie down, face down. Don't open eye again. Until they bring everything, they'll call mommy, daddy, everything. Don't open eye. Gather your medical evidence, approach each other in court. Next time, when she see bottle, will be coming down. She'll be coming down.
So, where your
Now
thoughts on
fight
this?
they use sword to fight now.
What are your thoughts on this video? Because we've been talking about side chick
It don't tire
attacking,
us.
wife attacking side chick.
So I feel, they've taken comic side. For me, woman, respect yourself. At the end of the day, you need to have a sense of self. That I am too much of a woman. I respect myself too much to get into this kind of fight.
Which is better.
Because no matter how pretty this little dog is, you get into a fight with a pig, you're going to smell bad.
Yeah.
Anyhow, because you have put yourself in a situation where you'll be disrespected. You are the wife, you are the one in the house. You must respect yourself enough to, even if the man chooses to behave, if he chooses to be a philanderer, he is disrespecting himself. I think it is very wrong. We've had this narrative that if a man cheats, he's disrespecting his wife. No. If a man cheats, he's disrespecting himself. You don't disrespect me until I take it from you. It is when I wear that disrespect, I decide to bathe in it, then I've taken that disrespect. You disrespecting yourself, you don't value yourself. I would respectfully take myself out of a situation that I cannot handle. Many women tie their self-respect and identity to how a man perceives them. So if men admire me, then I'm hot. If men look at me, then I'm sexy or I'm something, I am appealing. Oh, I have held a man down. My husband is... All of that is you abdicating responsibility for your own respect. So I feel that she didn't have respect.
For herself. Okay.
Nobody should put you in a situation where you would raise your hand and start fighting somebody else.
I get that.
To the point of breaking a bottle over somebody's head.
Let
Really,
me
who
put
does
it in
that?
this scenario because we're in Africa, we're in Nigeria, and our environment is peculiar. So a woman finds out her husband is cheating, and there are many narratives. Narratives like, oh, she's jazzed my husband. This is a man that I have suffered, labored with, and now this person who's used this for my... I hear that she jazzed Mr. John. She also jazzed Mr. Gabriel, all sorts of names. So, this woman is a philanderer herself, so she has come to catch my husband. You have your own mind. You feel like, oh, you want to come and rescue your husband from this snatcher, who is a popular snatcher. There are different scenarios. Because I said that
you are living...
We find these things happen, we must box it in different scenarios. So this woman is there in her own mind. She's delivering a man who she understands is the kind of temperament he has. He's a softie, he doesn't like. He's just the kind of guy that is easily mesmerized by another woman. So she has come as a savior to save her husband.
Jesus,
from this
go through.
snatcher.
Jesus, savior.
These are some scenarios.
You're right, Maria, you're right. A lot of women live in denial. They don't want to accept what is.
Which is
that this man is choosing to cheat. Nobody collect him. They're not a collect man, a willing captive.
Hey.
If man waka go, now in one waka go, they not come in office, come give him food. In go there, go collect pepper soup.
Yeah.
You should tell yourself the truth. If he doesn't want to, there are men who every day will say, I don't want. There's a temptation in front of them. They are calling their wives. Why can't he call you? He's so weak. We make excuses because we want to fight another woman. So you think it's about
easier.
the woman. That on the woman's part, another man's husband, another woman's husband is coming to you. Because of your inadequacies, I must attach to a man because society has said if I don't have somebody, I am useless. Hold on. You now forget about another woman's pain. After all, I'm selfish. It's about my benefit. So on the two hands, those two women should tell themselves the truth. A man that is married and coming to you does not belong to you. And if you want to go into that man, tell him to tell his wife, make them marry you enter house.
Okay, wait. I'll pause you for a second. Let me stay that for a second because I know a situation where this side chick was the helper of the family.
Why they help her?
No, financially.
This is a woman who is very rich, for example, wealthy, has connections, and maybe just they started on a noble, maybe just a friendship. Like, let me help this guy. He's a nice guy, and gradually they now started getting closer. And then even the wife respected the relationship because you realize that okay, this woman is
Something
helping,
was coming for the family.
And the man there, unfortunately, her husband was not strong enough. Obviously, at some point, side chick now became bad, now took over.
So who do you blame?
So in that kind of situation, I think some women are in that situation where they feel like, I am coming to take my husband back.
Wisdom is profitable to direct.
Answer the question because
We they carry this thing too hard. You know, we they practice polygamy, we know how these things work. Life is not that.
I mean, you don't practice.
Sit down.
My grandmama na number 15. My grandmother. Do you know that my maternal grandmother married the co-wives that she had, the two of them, for my father?
Your maternal
So
grandmother
I've seen the beauty. I've seen the one
It's
that
not
cannot
you,
stress person. Now let me explain. For the number one that you gave, it might be your attitude that is making this man look for peace at the hand of his side chick. Check yourself.
an excuse.
I'm just saying, I'm not making excuses, but we've seen where a man just wanted to escape a bit to a side chick, maybe your wallet, just to pepper you. But then found that the other one has mastered the art. She went to fattening room. They taught her how to care for him, how to give him peace, how to help. Marriage, home is peace. So. You cannot be coming home and you're standing at the door.
Where are you coming from?
Where are you coming from? I've been calling your phone, you didn't pick. You don't even enter out to sit down. And sure, thank you.
But there are
That
few
kind of
responsible
thing.
men
Yes,
that
there
stay
are.
out late
No,
and don't
but
care, don't call the house.
You will know. If your husband will be staying out late,
You will know.
you will know. We did not cut our husband, we knew he was not staying out late before we married.
So
If
you
he
did
was staying out late,
investigation.
I would know. Because, and I would just free him. I cannot let him come here and be schooling him. I cannot train somebody's child.
Yes, so
I marry adults. Now adult I marry, I cannot, no, in mama picking. But it's not my picking. I cannot train him. Now, the side chick girl that is helping you, that you say she should accept clinical society. If, as she is, one headline that went the other day that some girls are not married because they refuse to do side chick. If, as she is, she did not help herself, there will be no solution to her own condition. So she's not society that has compared herself. I don't want to call the person that said that headline. It was trending this week. That some girls are unmarried because they refuse to be side chick. I did not read story more than that. So society has put them in that box. You that you are a wife in the house, wisdom is profitable to direct. If, for instance, that's the instance Murayo gave, the financier or
is
the
the side
helper of our life is the side chick. Welcome.
accept her.
Welcome, oh.
Accept her.
Very much so.
Yes.
Welcome.
Yes.
Because my children cannot be hungry while I'm vexing.
I don't
cannot
understand.
be
Yes.
stupid and poor at the same time.
Yes.
One I go choose.
Choose one.
Welcome.
Give me five.
I cannot be stupid
International.
and poor at the same time.
It's true.
Morayo.
You want to go and break bottle
Auntie, welcome.
on your
Daddy, how
beneficiary?
many weeks are you using at Auntie's place? Eba mi kí wọn. Because it's true. I cannot be poor.
One cold beer for you.
Stupid at the same time.
Take it to your teeth.
See,
No,
You know, the only issue is that my children are
I
last.
will take it.
Hold on. The
If she's
respect.
the beneficiary, I will
but
take
the
it.
point is, you know what I said about respecting? When you know yourself and you know you can take care, there are women that have grown to the level that if a man leaves the scene, they can finance the entire family. So they are not staying in the marriage for financial benefits or being married to the man. They're not staying in the marriage because they need the man's title. They are staying in the marriage because they love and are committed to the man. Such
one is
person
different.
has their own respect. If you are staying in a marriage because of financial support and you cannot handle your own responsibilities, then you should be wise enough to stay and wait
Yes.
and manage
We're
the
saying the
situation.
same thing, sister.
However,
What happened
let
to
us
love,
deal with
Dr.
Wise.
I qualified. I said
Wisdom.
Some women marry based on love. If
And
you are
they're
married
poor,
based
and they're
on love,
still
you are a responsible woman. You marry somebody you love. You fight. You fight for your love. You stick with your love. You pray for your love. You don't go and break bottle on your for your love because the bottle you are breaking, you don't know what is already in that person's body. You see that woman. They broke the bottle. That woman is strong. She tick. She stagger.
Two of them tick.
She not be like me.
Before she
Apply
stagger.
action.
So you break bottle like this.
That's it.
Manslaughter. End of story.
You will not be
started-
marrying your husband
You
from
were
Kirikiri.
just fighting, and then you ended up
Marry
with
your
you
husband
killing a human
from
being.
Kirikiri
And that is
maximum.
a reality you must emphasize. Anger has led many people into a life they did not plan for. You were angry enough. You pushed your wife. He hit her. Guy,
Can I call
this
someone,
one,
please?
broken bottle could have led to her being
Yes.
to the death. And so we must always say, whatever way you want to resolve any crisis, it mustn't involve violence.
So, The person who brings the chips the most makes the calls. That's what it. No, listen now. Listen now.
It shouldn't be.
Detect the tune. Thank you.
It shouldn't be.
No, it's not about shouldn't be. If you,
It is what
with
it
all
is.
your self-respect as a woman, will be collecting from another woman, I don't understand. You don't have sense. Why do you think the woman decided to help your husband in the first place? Why? Women don't just go around helping different men that are married to their husband. There's an interest.
They're helping each other.
They're helping each other. There's an interest there. So if a woman has an interest in your husband and your husband goes, okay, this project, this one, and they're just doling out help, and you're smiling and collecting the one that is coming, the crumbs, you are buying hair, you are buying clothes, you are enjoying yourself, you are paying school fees, you have a comfortable life, you now want to complain after you have eaten her seed, you have eaten from her fruits. It's not possible.
Let me take this
Tell
call.
yourself the truth and maintain that relationship.
Behave yourself.
Behave yourself.
Let me take this call. Good morning, are you there? Yakub, I believe. Good morning, Yakub.
Mariah, I'm there. Good
You're
morning.
live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning, everyone on the studio.
Good morning.
This is a very, very important topic. Mariah, you see, I totally agree with Sister Nima on this very particular topic. See, whether you like it or not, let's tell ourselves the truth. You cannot even try to monitor us. You cannot do it. It's impossible.
That's the easiest
It
thing
is
to do.
we that can monitor ourselves. You get it?
People monitor
We
themselves.
can only monitor ourselves. We know who our father and mother is. Do you get it? For example, look at the analogy that Sister Nima brings on now. Somebody that is taking over your bills, and then all because you have something is happening, and then you want to find that kind of a person. Do you know what is going to happen at the end of the day? What will happen at the end of the day is that if your husband there leaves you with all the children, and people go back to that very particular person, what will you do?
Nothing.
How do you going to train the children? It is only when you allow it, and then you know how you're going to handle it. You cannot even monitor us. That is the truth. Let's just tell ourselves
Okay,
the truth.
thank you, Yakub. Religious-wise, I don't think it's right for us to think it's okay because somebody brings in the money and we now agree to stay in a polygamous relationship. I mean, for me, I don't think it's right.
Who said polygamy is a sin?
Well, listen, that's it.
What is wrong?
Let's not
personally
open
feel.
that kind of-
We
Let's
will
not
open
even
it.
go
Why
there.
are we
Let's
using
not
right
open that
or
one.
wrong? We will open it.
That's part two.
Why are you using right or wrong?
I think I don't want us to unnecessarily make bringing in money such the most important thing.
I don't understand. We need to pay bills. Things are expensive.
I think that a woman who breaks bottle, I'm just justifying breaking bottle.
Okay.
But as I said before, there are different reasons. That was only one scenario. There's another scenario where you were the one that sent this man to school. You sacrificed your own progress. Because I know a woman, she got a job in NNPC. She had to go to, what's it called? Is it Fayos or somewhere like that? And they told her she sacrificed that job because her husband, she was the one that helped her husband to school. He now got a job in a bank and he was doing very, very well. Then she stayed home with the children. But while she stayed home with the children, I think about 4 or 5 years or so, someone now hooked her up with the job because she was so smart and brilliant in school. Got her a job, but her husband insisted that she should stay at home, that the kids are still young. She sacrificed and left. She said she wanted to. Now, that kind of man that you sacrifice so much for, tomorrow now said you're saying in beer parlor and one woman is there, you don't break bottle on the person's
Not break bottle.
Wait. You see this seed that you plant? When it's time to reap it, don't reap it in kirikiri.
Exactly.
Be careful. You want to reap it. You want to reap it in a way you will enjoy it. Even not because of your children you sacrifice. That's why I always say own your choices. These compromises that we say we are making in marriages, own the one
Make
you're
sure
doing.
you want to do it, though.
Let it be because you can live with the
Consequences.
entire journey. That's why you did it. Because human beings are human beings, and they can disappoint. If the man disappoints you, what's your backup plan? If you didn't have, they start all over. It's not that you will not say, no, I must fight this victory. Vengeance is kiniko, is mine. It's of the Lord, though. Wisdom is profitable to direct. Leave this matter.
Nima is quoting Bible.
It's true.
Vengeance is of the Lord. Please, let me take this.
Because we cannot go and lose.
I feel
both
that
ways.
it is very, very wrong for us to continue to encourage women to fight women on a case that is 100% the responsibility of a man. In very few cases, a woman is going to lure a man. But in 99.9% of the cases,
Now, the man
a
want
man
fall.
walks into the woman, a man toasts the woman, a man will sit on this matter, a man would hide and delete
Buy
and
gifts.
remove wedding ring and behave like he's single. Then you will not go and beat that innocent girl that thought
No, she wasn't innocent, but don't beat her.
Wait, she might think genuinely like this is a man, maybe he's divorced and now he's asking me out. If you have any issue in your marriage, deal with your marriage.
Yeah.
Deal with
Your
the
husband.
parties in the marriage. You want to break bottle? Why don't you break it on the man? Why is a woman punishing a woman when there's a man right there that is the one causing the drama?
Women.
Why? Why would not change that perspective? You see women pour hot water on another woman.
Yeah.
Why? Pour acid on another woman. A man will beat woman. Woman will beat woman.
Wetin
Please,
happen?
what, because of men? What's so special about the
and
man?
I
Wait,
think
there are
women
ways to
should
even
own-
fight.
Women should get into a place of power, own their power. We are powerful people. And because we don't understand who we are, we allow things like this ruffle us. When you can go outside and fight because of a man, it's because you have lost your power. You have
No
lost
respect.
your respect. In fact, the man you are fighting over will not even respect you. There's a way you carry yourself when you are in a relationship that the man is cheating. There's a way you carry yourself that will make him be scared
people
to
like it,
own
though.
up. No. Now, like,
Some men like it.
I've seen
They
a
like
story.
it.
Now-
That, yeah.
No,
I will fight
because,
you.
no, they like it because they know that they have you here. They control you.
So
they
take
move
back
your
power.
button. So they like it. Men will like it when they can control a woman and believe that she's going nowhere. I have her here. But when you show superior power by distancing yourself away from
Let
it,
me-
the man is scared. Either he chooses to run away or he changes his behavior.
He will sit
Let's
up.
start- he will sit up.
Let me share a story with you. A woman married and she was childless for 9 years. And within that period, the ex-girlfriend became a side chick. And that one was so fertile. It took people like pig. She just a bomb. So the woman just was patient. She continued to fight her fight. She stayed on in her marriage because she had invested so much. Their house, their businesses, everything. And she had a good job. And so she waited. God can't answer prayer after 9 years. Bele came through IVF. She had a son. What did you think she would do? She decided to put all her investments,
In the
separate
child's name.
everything in her child's name.
Simple.
And then when the other woman heard, when I married him, this house was you people's own. How is it your own? And I say, Auntie, don't worry. Shebi, you want to born, you don't want to walk. Oh, wahala. You see, these houses, the ones that I left that were co-owning, my son will still share with his siblings. I'm not saying they are not his siblings, but he will still share. What I have is for my child. What our husband have is
It's
for his
all of
children.
us.
His children.
You own your power.
Because some
own your
women are
place.
lazy. They like to come where they did not sow to reap. The fight is not sword fight. It's brain fight. You have to be calm. It's not bottle fighting.
bottle fight.
It's
It's not
brain
bottle
fight.
I think I can end on that note. So this fight is not a bottle fight. It's a brain fight.
Brain
You gotta
fight,
sit back,
knee
think,
fight,
think,
Know yourself.
knee fight.
pray,
Hold on
brain
to your
fight
God.
and knee fight. So when your husband cheats, don't use
Oh, waka
physical.
fight, so you can still live. Before mental health
that's-
Before
kill you.
mental health kill you.
Eh,
You can
walk
still
away,
live.
you
For those
can
who are
walk
strong
away,
mentally.
all right? In this life, it's all about choices.
Yeah.
Yes.
Make the right
True.
choices
Yeah.
and retain your dignity
Yes.
as a woman. Retain your power, own your power.
Own your power.
And own your choices.
Yes.
You learn a few things.
Amazing.
That is all we can take on the show today. I hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a fabulous weekend. We'll see you Monday. Bye for now.
Bye-bye now.